sugar for the year. Of that total, 200,000 metric tons will be allocated for consumers, while 240,000 metric tons will serve as buffer stock. The SRA approved the sugar importation in a bid to bring prices down to an average of 80 to 85 pesos per kilo for both local and imported sugar. The latest data of the Agriculture Department shows that refined sugar is sold at 87 to 110 pesos or 110 pesos per kilo.
You have to also understand yung plight ng majority ng Pilipino na consumer po. So, yan. So the farmers actually hindi sang-ayon yung farmers sa retail price natin ngayon na ganun kataas. Kasi alam naman ng farmers that high retail price will bring about to situations like this na matatamaan din kami in the end.
And the United Sugar Producers Federation said it is in favor of the importation. The group says the buffer stock allocation should prevent price speculation.
This assures the market that there is ample supply kahit wala ng sugar milling tapos na yung harvest. So hindi magpapanik yung mga trader na makaubusan. This order to import, as I said, will stop the speculation. Puro speculation na ito po ang taas na presyo not related sa stocks.
But the Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura is concerned at the importation's impact on local sugar producers. The group also doubts that the sugar allocation will translate to lower prices for consumers.
Napapalo tayo kasi yung objective ng importation, which is to lower retail price, huwag mo siya nagmanifest. Ano ba ang mechanism nila para ma-ensure na yung i-import mo talagang doon sa sinasabing lugar niya mapupunta. There is no mechanism.
Meantime, the Department of Agriculture says that onion prices in the country cannot be controlled. In an interview with Radio 5, DA spokesperson Rex Estoperez noted that there are sellers who do not follow the suggested retail price or SRP of 125 pesos per kilo for onions. He also said that to implement the SRP, they would need police power and the cooperation of business owners. Estoperez added that for now, the only way to bring down onion prices is to import.
Ang sa atin po namang suggested retail price, parang hindi naman susunod. Kung wala tayong police power, din dyan namang uhuli tayo. And the best way to increase ang supply at bumaba ang presyo is to import. They will not cooperate. Wala tayong magagawa.
In other news, Senator Francis Tolentino says that the Philippines needs a visiting forces agreement with Japan. In an interview with the chiefs, Tolentino said that the country lacks the capacity and resources to deal with maritime issues and calamities. President Bongbong Marcos earlier said that the Philippines is eyeing to ink a VFA with Japan as soon as Tokyo shows interest in joining Philippine forces in military exercises.
When you talk of resources, when you talk of global actions, I think it will come to that point that what we lack, others can provide, and what others provide can either increase tensions or can, as I've said, promote stability in the region.
More stories coming your way after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council, or LEDAC, is pushing for the ratification of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP. In a meeting on Monday, LEDAC member and Senate President Mig Zubiri committed to defend the RCEP's ratification at the upper chamber. The Philippines is the only ASEAN country that has still not ratified the free trade deal, which President Bongbong Marcos himself had said would be good for the country. Meantime, in the same LEDAC meeting, at least 10 priority bills have been adopted for passage by June 2. These include the Public-Private Partnership Bill, the creation of the Virology Institute of the Philippines, and the Mandatory Reserve Officers Training Corps, or ROTC. Aside from the Maharlika Bill, LEDAC also agreed to approve measures for agrarian reform beneficiaries, the E-Commerce Act, and the development of the salt industry. LEDAC serves as a consultative and advisory body to the President and the Socio-Economic Planning Chief. And senators are urging the Health Department to improve its methods in gathering reports on child bullying. Data shows that over 17 million Filipino children experience bullying in schools. Here's the report.
Data from the Program for International Student Assessment, or PISA, shows that up to 6 out of 10 Filipino children aged 13 to 17 years old experience bullying. This places the Philippines the highest in bullying incidents out of over 70 countries. This disturbing information was brought up by senators during their inquiry into the implementation of the Anti-Bullying Act.
This is quite worrisome when it comes to reading, math, and science. We're second to the last. But when it comes to bullying, we're number one across 70-plus countries.
Senator Win Gatchalian, who chairs the Committee on Public Education, stresses that bullying is a huge issue in the education sector and that this must be addressed if the country wants to address learner performance.
We also need to make sure that the school environment is safe. Bullying creates an environment of fear among our students. We can experience a lot of dropouts. Some students are not comfortable going to school and they don't concentrate, and hence we see a lot of low scores.
But what's more worrying is that ever since the Anti-Bullying Act was passed in 2013, bullying incidents climbed further. That's according to data from the Education Department. The highest count was recorded in 2018 to 2019 with over 21,500. This went down to around 11,600 in 2020 when classes shifted to online learning. DepEd says there could have also been possible underreporting due to the pandemic. Gatchalian says that's likely because based on other studies, some 17.5 million students may have been bullied across the Philippines, way higher than what was recorded by DepEd.
This is the reason why we wanted to create new avenues for them to directly report. And that's why the Learner Telesafe Center, or the contact center, is intended to help gather reports directly from the learners, hoping that we'll be able to establish regional hubs for direct reporting to the regions and immediate action.
Senators say the Education Department must work on improving its capacity to gather reports on bullying. Aside from physical harm, experts also noted that bullying affects the mental health of learners.
Almost directly results to adolescent depression and suicidal ideation, suicidal attempts. This is already something that has to be studied systematically, but from our experience, bullying, cyberbullying, emotional bullying, and social exclusion among adolescents is already a very, very already linked to depression and suicidal ideation. So I think that's definitely a mental health issue.
Aside from supporting the victims, experts add that education authorities must also look into the situation of the bullies, as they may have also been experiencing violence at home.
And most of the perpetrators in that physical violence are family members. So they experience physical violence at home. So that's why when we see a bully, we know that that behavior reflects what this bully is already experiencing at home.
Arian Kalumbiran, We Are One News.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. The 5-man advisory team that will evaluate the courtesy resignations of high-ranking police officers has convened for the first time. Present were Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong, former Court of Appeals Associate Justice Melchor Sadanga, former Police General Isagani Neres, and PNP Chief Rodolfo Azurin. The group discussed guidelines and procedures on how to go about the evaluation process. And the oil price rollback for diesel and kerosene took effect today. Diesel prices are down by 2 pesos and 20 centavos per liter, while kerosene is cheaper by 2 pesos and 50 centavos a liter. There's no movement in gasoline prices. Renowned novelist and activist Luwalhati Bautista's wake will be at the St. Peter Chapels in Commonwealth, Quezon City. Bautista's family wishes the first 2 days of the wake to be exclusive to relatives and friends. Bautista will be laid to rest at Holy Cross Memorial Park in Novaliches on Friday, February 17. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News Live anytime, anywhere. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.